you'd take refuge behind that British vulture Wellington. You know he had to buy German mercenaries to beat Napoleon, don't you? What?
Salwan Momika, the Christian Iraqi who burnt copies of the Quran during the protests in Sweden in 2023, has allegedly been shot dead inside his house.
What's going on in Europe, would you say? Europe suddenly seems like a different place.
Well,
The verdict there.
Well, it shows that the judge doesn't agree with the fact that me taking my daughter out for her birthday should be against my bail conditions. My bail conditions are not to enter the M25. I don't know what that's got to do with the crime I didn't commit. I got attacked by the police. My rights so far have been taken away for 5 months. Yeah. So some people would be saying, well, why did you go to Crystal Palace? Yeah. For me, I've missed my daughter's birthdays, I've missed their Christmases, I've landed on holiday in Mexico and been taken from them and put in a detention centre. So when I asked my daughter what she wants to do for her birthday, I am Luton Town mad. My 12-year-old's Luton Town mad, yeah? My youngest. Out of all of them, it's her that's Luton mad. So I said, what do you want to do? She said she wants to go to Crystal Palace. And we went to TGI Fridays, we went in a party bus, my friend gave us a party bus for the day with her friends. We had a beautiful day. Luton scored in the 96th minute, which was the equaliser. So even though I got detained and I was expecting, then I didn't expect to get out. So some people would say it was stupid, but remember, at the minute, PC Shah is who I have to ask permission for, who refused permission for everything so far, yeah? He's refused permission for family days out for me. So I went to London, I saw the football with my daughter on her birthday. Yes, I've been arrested, but remember, I'm also making a documentary showing this. The judge obviously didn't agree because I'd be in jail right now, yeah? Judge DC Snow, District Judge Snow, who's the one who condemned Julian Assange as well, DJ Snow has held my case in front of him that it can't go to anyone else. But when you breach bail, you go before the nearest court, yeah? So it's got, if this would have gone before DJ Snow, I'll be in jail, yeah? 100%, I'll be in jail. And some people say, why would you even risk that? Why would I even risk that? Again, I'm a free man and this is a free country, supposedly, yeah? I've done nothing wrong. The whole country knows I've done nothing wrong. I should not have a barrier where I can and can't access, because it's insane. And the fact that no politicians and the fact that no journalists are even speaking up against this, again, is insane. I did nearly go to jail. I'm very grateful that I had my team at Carson K who were alerted straight away, who were ready with my KC, who come. And you heard what he said at the start. I wasn't going to be releasing you. I wasn't going to be releasing you. But the point of the matter of the fact is, the bail conditions are meant to be to prevent me committing further offences to do with what I was arrested for, which was having a breakfast, yeah?
23rd of April, people across England celebrate St George's Day. St George is the patron saint of England, but what do we really know about him? Well, according to the legend, he was brave, he wore a suit of armour and rode a horse. He fought a mighty dragon to save a princess who was in trouble.
How has one police officer, a Muslim police officer, got the power to decide if I can take my daughter out for her birthday or not? How is that even happening? So again, for me, it's an issue. I believe I'm free. I believe in freedom of speech, I believe in freedom of movement, I believe in freedom of the press. So yeah, I did go to London. And I am free again. The question is, for how long?
But just going on to them bail conditions there, it's inside the M25, and that's a huge area. We looked at it. We've got Surrey. You've got the other side of Hertfordshire. You've got Kent. You've got Essex. They're all, you have to cross the M25 to get to these places, and some of them are inside the M25.
Bail conditions are supposed to be proportionate. Yeah. We've argued this twice, but this one judge. So when we had the bail conditions in front of this judge, this is the one who condemned Julian Assange. Yeah. When we had the bail conditions in front of this judge, we then appealed the bail conditions. And they went before another judge. And when we got into court, the judge read the note and said this can only be heard by Judge Snow. It's like, what? So then we went back to the same judge, who then said, I've already said you're not coming inside the M25. How is that proportionate?
Exactly.
The story of St George is a popular one. It's been told for at least 1,600 years, and over that time, it's changed a bit. Well, a lot, actually.
And I really do think that you having the King's Counsel there, not just a solicitor, not a solicitor in general, you having the King's Counsel in there made a lot of the difference.
You heard his words.
You
heard his words. His words were, I was not going to be making this decision to release you today.
Exactly. So that's the importance when you're fighting against this lawfare state, to have the best people to be in the positions to enable that. Because another person, that judge would have said.
Well, some people may be looking. Some people may be looking, thinking, what's the point in this? Yeah. So I've just got a £32,000 bill for my trial that's coming on the 22nd and 23rd of November. The point of this is, which I wouldn't be asking you to contribute, is I'm not on trial here. Yeah. For my film, it's the judiciary that we want to put on trial. I'm going to show you, yeah, that even with the best, which we either win or we lose, in the sense of with the best defence that money can buy, yeah, thanks to my support, I will go equipped to a gunfight with a gun, yeah, because they'll have the best prosecution they can find, yeah. So I will go in on an equal playing field, but not with a jury. So if we lose, I'm showing the public that I didn't have some little Mickey Mouse solicitors or barristers. I had Carson Cade, one of the best in the country, and I had a top KC in the country, yeah. I've gone in equipped. And everyone knows on the day I was arrested on 26th of November, I didn't do anything. I was attacked. I went to report, yeah, I didn't do anything wrong. So it's not just that case we're looking at in our film, but we're looking at lots of cases to ask the question of people, do we have freedom of speech, do we have freedom of assembly, do we have freedom of press, or do we live in a police state? By the end of it, you're all going to make your mind up, and anyone that watches this film makes their mind up. So, and this isn't, again, this is ongoing work, but I was worried in there, if I'm honest. I was sitting there. But Luton scored in the 96th minute, yeah? That moment with my kitchen, I had all three of my children there and their friends. So that moment for me, Luton are in the Premier League. I missed the first half of the season. We're fighting relegation, yeah? I don't know if we'll be in that league next season, okay? So the chances for me to take my three children to watch Luton in a battle and score in the 96th minute with the last kick of the game was absolutely unbelievable. Such a moment with my kids. So people who ain't into football may be thinking, what? But that's massive for me and my children, yeah? So I was happy, man. I was happy, but then I was shitting myself because I was thinking, where am I going from here? Tameside. Tameside prison is probably 90% not white.
Yeah, that's what we're worried about. That's what we're worried about when they said that's the place to be.
I was like, here we go again, man. I'm also happy that I can work on a project that I believe is going to humiliate them. It's going to humiliate certain judges, yeah? It's going to humiliate the police, and it's going to document and put it all together in a story where you can understand what's happening. Because there's lots of members of the British public who still think we have freedom of speech. They still think we have freedom of the press. I'm going to categorically prove to you we don't, yeah? Categorically prove to you we do live in a police state. And yeah, if you've got the target on you, you're in trouble. But I'm very happy, man. I didn't eat, yeah? So I've done my little fasting, so...
There you go. It's good, all good for that.
Cheers, man. Thanks, bro. Liam Tufts. I fasted for 48 hours, bro.
And on that note, I think you've got a time limit to be out of here. And there's a lot of people looking around here at the moment.
I've got to get out of here by 2 o'clock. I've got to be out of the M25. The M25, how big's the M25?
Exactly.
Do you know when I missed my flight when I was in Tenerife? I missed a flight, and then I thought I'd just fly back to Luton in the morning. I couldn't, because then Luton was fully booked, so all the flights to London. I thought I can't even fly home.
That's it.
It's believed St. George was a real person. George was also a Christian and very brave. He spoke out against Diocletian and his reign of terror. And even when he was sentenced to death, George stayed true to his faith. St. George's legendary bravery led to English kings and their armies flying the flag of St. George while wearing a red cross on a white background also showed their Christian faith. And that's when St. George became the patron saint of England.
By the way, we beat the Metropolitan Police Force, yeah?
Fuck 'em, the corrupt cunts!
And I say we, I'll stand on there, I'm too small. I'll say we, because we did. I never would have won that case without the support of all of you. It must be an embarrassing day for the Metropolitan Police Force. I was asked by the journalists outside court, are you expecting trouble today on St. George's Day?
No.
I said, no, I'm not. But we have got justified anger with what's been happening in our capital city. I just want to point out that what the judge has ruled today is that the arrest was unlawful. They had no authorisation. They didn't even have a fucking order to do it.
Wankers!
They pepper sprayed me from point blank range. But the worst part of all of it, which is what it's all about, was I was bail conditioned by a judge to prevent me coming inside the M25 for 6 months. During those 6 months, they've allowed Hamas supporters of jihad to run. They've allowed them to run amok in our capital city for the last 6 months. The whole world now knows it's a fact that we live under two-tier policing where they...
Corrupt fuckers!
It's a very dangerous path that Mark Rowley and Sadiq Khan are taking our country down. I've gone through the courts, I've challenged it. That has happened non-stop for the last 13 years, okay? The judge today ruled what they did was unlawful when I was taken off the streets, outside Leeds Court and imprisoned within 2 hours for 13 months. Another judge deemed that was unlawful, so I was released. I have the benefit that all you people know who I am. The point is, when it happens to me, people know about it. How many British patriots, how many nationalists, how many people who love their country are coming under attack by the police, are losing their jobs, are being censored, and no one even knows their stories? You've all turned out today. It's our day of celebration. It's our day of celebrating our identity and who we are. I'd ask again on the 1st of June, I want to lead a march through this capital city against two-tier policing.
Yeah, we'll be there, mate.
And I'd advise the police to keep the Hamas and Palestinian supporters away on the 1st of June. We will be erecting a huge screen outside Parliament where we will show the world the totalitarian state that we are living under. Two-tier policing, we don't just focus, this film doesn't just focus on me. As I said, you hear my story. Do you know how many people this is happening to across our country? You don't get to hear their stories. You don't get to hear the abuse of police powers, the state coming down on them because they challenge the narrative. That's what our documentary is going to do. If there's any mainstream media here today,
Fuck off! Fuck off!
Your monopoly is gone. It's gone. Your power has gone. No one listens to you anymore. And I'd like to thank the new up-and-coming media, which is us, every one of us, all the citizen journalists who come to my court case to make sure people like you get the truth. Their power has gone. The country has... I've noticed personally myself, I've noticed the difference in the reaction I received, certainly since October the 7th. But in the last 12 months, this country has gone through an awakening. People are awake. They do not believe the media. They do not believe the government. We know, everyone now knows at every single level they want to take our rights, they want to take our freedoms, they want to control us. And there is only one reaction to that, and that is to rebel at every single opportunity. I will make a point again. Do you know when I was arrested, the police officers arrested me, they attacked me, but the police officers at the police station couldn't have been any nicer. Do you know how many police officers I've met who have apologised to me? Do you know how many of them shake my hand? Do So I would say our problem is in the politicised policing coming from the top, from Mark Rowley, Sadiq Khan.
Vile.
To the Metropolitan Police Force, to the British establishment, this has really fucking backfired, isn't it? Everyone, I would say, I'm grateful you've all come. I've had a few dramas last 48 hours at home. I'd say everyone be safe, everyone be calm, enjoy your day, enjoy your identity, celebrate it.
The Red Cross of St George also appears on the Union Jack, or Union Flag, to give it its proper name. It combines the flag of St Patrick for Ireland and St Andrew for Scotland, together with England's Cross of St George. Well, if you were a legend known for extreme bravery and awesome dragon-slaying skills, you'd be pretty popular too.
To be born English is already winning the lottery of life. Thank you to Danny Tomo.
Yeah, well done, Danny.
Danny's put this together today without any help. Go on, Danny. I'll be honest, I thought I'd be in prison, so every time you mention it I was thinking there's no point, I'm not going to be here, yeah? I'm not going to be here. But he went against it, he's done it, so Danny, thank you. Everyone give a thank you to Danny Tomo.
A shocking amount of censorship. You may have seen, like in Britain.
Today, it truly is sad to see that it's slowly being corrupted by immigrants and weak leaders.
Because they noticed the society getting crappier and crappier with every year, and they said so.
Yeah, I mean, there were, and this is I'm simply stating a fact. There were migrant gangs in England that were gangs that would, and some people found that objectionable, which obviously it should be objectionable, and they were upset about that, and so they complained about it online, and were sent to prison. That sounds crazy. The woke mind virus. It takes the place of religion.
Yes,
and they internalize it and they feel it with religious fervor. What questions should we ask that we don't even know to ask?
To provide for its own defense, the threat that I worry the most about vis-a-vis Europe is not Russia, it's not China, it's not any other external actor. And what I worry about is the threat from within, the retreat of Europe from some of its most fundamental values shared with the United States of America. The digital censorship is billed as a defense of democracy. But when we see European courts canceling elections and senior officials threatening to cancel others, we ought to ask whether we're holding ourselves to an appropriately high standard. And I say ourselves because I fundamentally believe that we are on the same team. We must do more than talk about democratic values, we must live them. As it turns out, you can't mandate innovation or creativity, just as you can't force people what to think, what to feel, or what to believe, and we believe those things are certainly connected. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now, I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person. But no, this last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law. Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizen suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat. Where the prior administration threatened and bullied social media companies to censor so-called misinformation. Misinformation like, for example, the idea that coronavirus had likely leaked from a laboratory in China. Our own government encouraged private companies to silence people who dared to utter what turned out to be an obvious truth.
Well, the CIA now agrees with 2 other federal agencies that the most likely cause of the COVID-19 pandemic is a lab leak from Wuhan, China. Now, this is a big admission because the CIA had previously stated it did not have enough confidence to choose between the 2 major theories, lab leak and natural animal spillover. The agency...
In England, they voted for Brexit, and agree or disagree, they voted for it. And more...
What is your current view on Brexit, sir? Should Britain leave the European Union if there is no agreement by October 31st?
I thought it was going to happen because of immigration more than anything else, but probably it happens for a lot of reasons. I would think that it will happen, and it probably should happen. The Prime Minister's brought it to a very good point where something will take place in the not-too-distant future. I think she's done a very good job. I believe it would be good for the country, yes.
What is paramount, I believe, is delivering on Brexit for the British people. And I seem to remember the President suggested that I sued the European Union, which we didn't do. We went into negotiations and we came out with a good deal.
Yeah, that's not such a... I would have sued, but that's okay. I would have sued and settled, maybe, but you never know. She's probably a better negotiator than I am.
And trust me, I say this with all humor. If American democracy can survive 10 years of Greta Thunberg scolding, you guys can survive a few months of Elon Musk.
Administrations.
Well, I heard his speech, and I tell you, you're talking about JD's speech, right?
Yes, sir.
I heard his speech, and he talked about freedom of speech, and I think it's true in Europe. It's losing. They're losing their wonderful right of freedom of speech. I see it. I mean, I thought he made a very good speech, actually, a very brilliant speech. Yeah. Europe has to be careful. And he talked about immigration. And Europe has a big immigration problem. Just take a look at what's happened with crime. Take a look at what's happening in various parts of Europe. I thought his speech was very well received, actually. I've heard very good remarks.
Right, ladies and gentlemen, we'll come to you guys with some semi-breaking news. I'm actually sitting here watching the Trump inauguration, taking a bit of a break, but I actually realized, I missed a big update. Yes, it's now been confirmed. Tommy Robinson's team have now confirmed on X that Elon Musk has officially joined Team Tommy.
Elon Musk, now a central part of U.S. politics as part of Trump's inner circle, is making waves across the Atlantic in the UK, calling for government intervention in a grooming gang scandal within a series of posts on X that began with a call for the release of political activist Tommy Robinson from a UK prison. His post on X, Free Tommy Robinson, has sparked larger conversations, largely within conservative circles in the U.S. and Britain, with some political leaders now calling for government reform and federal investigations in the UK, all as a result of Musk's recent post. Here's what to know. First, who Tommy Robinson is, what his political cause is, and why he has conservatives in his corner calling for action in Britain. Tommy Robinson is one of Britain's most high-profile political activists on the right, currently jailed in a UK prison on an 18-month sentence after defying a court order preventing him from repeating child abuse allegations he made against a Syrian refugee teenager in 2018 who sued Robinson for libel. The refugee teenager denied the abuse claims and won the libel case. Robinson defied a court order when he repeated the accusations in a documentary now banned in Britain, a documentary reposted by Elon Musk with a centralized theme of what Robinson describes as a weaponized government.
This story is far bigger than Tommy Robinson. This is about the weaponization and the politicization of these buildings, court buildings across the West. The Royal Courts of Justice, ironically named. These buildings have been weaponised and used against members of the public to destroy them if they speak out.
Robinson is behind a docu-series about gang rapes of English girls, which set off social media after Musk put things in motion. Musk posting on X, "Why is Tommy Robinson in a solitary confinement prison for telling the truth? He should be freed, and those who covered up this travesty should take his place in that cell." In the UK, serious crimes such as rape require the Crown Prosecution Service's approval for the police to charge suspects. Who was the head of the CPS when rape gangs were allowed to exploit young girls without facing justice? Keir Starmer from 2008 to 2013. Musk's string of posts caught the attention of U.S. lawmakers. Republican Senator Mike Lee reposting a Robinson video titled "The Rape of Britain, Episode 1.
That our government, our social services and our police forces sacrificed a generation of our daughters."
Mike Lee saying in his repost, "The UK must free Tommy Robinson. If it doesn't, there must be consequences." Britain's leader of the Conservative Party also calling for an investigation, saying the time is long overdue for a full national inquiry into the rape gang scandal. Trials have taken place all over the country in recent years, but no one in authority has joined the dots. 2025 must be the year that the victims start to get justice. Last month, Elon Musk met with the leader of Britain's Conservative Populist Party, Reform UK.
Would you rather Nigel Farage had a bigger role?
Well, I think Nigel is great. I mean, I've known him for a long time. He had a great election, too. He picked up a lot of seats, more seats than he was allowed to have, actually. They acknowledge that he won, but for some reason you have a very strange system over there. You might win him, but you don't get him. Nigel is a fantastic person.
At Trump's Mar-a-Lago, who also spoke out against the establishment regarding the grooming gang scandal. However, GB News in Britain has reported the government has formally rejected requests for investigations into historic child abuse. Currently, it's the UK's left Labour Party in control, led by Keir Starmer.
Keir Starmer, the UK Premier.
Yes, he's coming tonight.
What do you think of him? Some of his colleagues in government are quite critical of you.
Well, I'm going to see him in about an hour, so I have to be nice, right? But I actually think he's very nice. I think he ran a great race. He did very well.
Someone Musk has traded jabs with online over a number of political disagreements. That continued following rejection of further investigation into so-called grooming gangs by the Labour Party's Jess Phillips. Musk saying, "Who is the boss of Jess Phillips right now? Keir Starmer. The real reason she's refusing to investigate the rape gangs is that it would obviously lead to the blaming of Keir Starmer, head of the CPS at the time." While Starmer has in the past responded to some of Musk's claims online, as of this recording, Starmer has steered away from responding to Musk's latest post about him. Inserting himself into conservative movements in the US and UK comes as Musk also recently fired off at Germany's leftist party leaders in an op-ed backing Germany's Conservative Party in elections set for February in the country. For more on Musk's latest involvement in international affairs, you can
by supporting him when it comes to the legal issues surrounding Tommy Robinson obviously being in jail. This is the statement we have from Tommy's admin. We are grateful, they say, to Elon Musk and his team for agreeing to provide support to Tommy for two specific legal cases. Number one is the prison treatment and human rights violations about his solitary confinement and everything else around it over the last few months since he's been in prison. This case challenges the treatment of Tommy while in prison, including violations of his human rights and his classification as a Category C inmate, despite being a civil offender. Obviously, he's not a criminal convict, he's a civil offender, but they're treating him like Bin Laden. The second case is actually about the so-called terrorism case. I know, they use terrorism charges against him. This involves Tommy being charged under a Schedule 7 offence of the Terrorism Act 2000. The charge stems from his refusal to grant police access to his phone. The point of that was that he has a lot of sensitive contacts, a lot of witnesses, obviously whistleblowers, victims, especially when it comes to grooming gangs and all the other issues as well. And obviously the recent case that he's been involved with. And he didn't want to, obviously, as a journalist, he promised them that their details, their privileged information will be obviously protected by him. So he refused to give the phone access, but of course they used terrorism charges against him. Tommy's team said, "We extend our heartfelt gratitude to Elon and his team for their unexpected and generous assistance with these cases. Tommy is immensely grateful for their support, which came as a complete surprise." That's the thing. So over the last day or two, there were a lot of rumors that Elon might be supporting Tommy legally, but there was no confirmation about it until now, that he has agreed to two legal cases. They also said that we would also like to thank our long-time friend Ezra Levant of Rebel Media, big shout out to Ezra, for his efforts in crowdfunding Tommy's legal costs until now. Given the good news from Elon, Ezra has paused the crowdfunding campaign, but with more cases ahead, his support may be needed again in the future. Ezra will continue to crowdfund for the trust fund for Tommy's children. That's a whole different thing, obviously. You can go on Tommy Robinson's children.com and actually check that out as well. So it is obviously good news, and it definitely confirms the initial rumors and gossip that came out over the last couple of days that Elon's getting involved. Well, he has officially gotten involved.
But I'm entering my third month of solitary confinement within Woodhill Prison. After 42 days, they had to go to the government after 42 days of isolation. So whose decision is it? Because I know people get frustrated with the prison. It's not the prison. All decisions to do with me and nothing to do with the jail. They're coming from the government. That was made. I had to give a written response to my opinion on my isolation. After 42 days, it was going to the government for them to continue doing it. So I wrote my written response, which said, this doesn't have to happen. When I come in here, I sat down with a psychiatrist and I said to her, what's 9 months of solitary confinement going to do to me? She said, it's going to be devastating for your mental health. So I said, so why are they doing it? And 2 weeks ago, this week, I sat down. Every 2 weeks, I have a meeting with the governors and the mental health team are there. Psychiatrists are there, mental health, probation, independent monitoring board. They're all there every 2 weeks because I have to have it because I'm on solitary confinement. And this week, I said, I'm going to say this because I feel different. I'm telling you, I know how I feel. I feel different. I know I'm only 2 months in. So why am I still being held in solitary confinement? Why am I not in a DCAT prison? And there's a mental health team there. I said, let me just ask you, is this good for me? She said, no. I said, how bad is it? Because I know how bad it is because I remember what happened last time. So I said, so why are you doing it? Why are you doing it? And I'm a civil offender, so I got 18 months, which is insane anyway, for playing a film that they said wasn't in the public's interest. Well, I think it's on 115 million views. It certainly was in the public's interest, yeah? But they sentenced me to 18 months. Now, as a civil offender, you go to an open prison. What's the difference between that and how I'm being held? Well, open prison, you get a job outside. You have a car. You go to work. You go stay at home 5 days a month. You have town visits with your family. So that is the only prison you go to for committing civil offences. You're unshipped to a maximum security jail housing the worst Muslim gangs and jihadists in the country. And then they use that then to say you have to go on solitary confinement. And what is solitary confinement? Well, rapists and terrorists are not on solitary confinement. Jihadists aren't. Axel, who done his little stabbing spree, the Muslim lad, I was in Belmarsh on solitary confinement. He was 2 cells above me on healthcare. He's got a job. So they're not under solitary confinement. What day is it today? It's Thursday. My routine tomorrow, Friday. At 8:30, because people say, yeah, I've got the gym. I have got the gym. So at 8:30 in the morning, I'll get collected for the gym. I'll get taken over to another 8 empty unit. I'm on a wing with 16 cells. It's just me. Yeah. Then I get taken through 19 sets of doors to another unit. It's a high security, maximum security unit where I'm allowed to use a gym. I'm on my own. So they lock me in a little small gym area. So I go there on my own. They lock me in a gym. I work out. Yeah, I'll do an hour run. I'll go on the bike for an hour. And then I bang the door. And then they'll open the door and they'll bring me outside. And then there's like an exercise yard. So I'll walk around that on my own. I'll do 40 minutes on my own. Yeah. And I'll have that. And then they'll bring me in. Then they'll bring me in. I'll go in the shower room. Luckily, on my own. Yeah. On my own in the shower room. But that's my routine. And then at 11:30, I'm put back in my cell. And then from 11:30 till the next morning, I'm sat in my cell. So 21 hours a day, I sit on that bed. Now, I wouldn't be moaning. I don't want people to feel sorry for me, but the injustice of it all is this shouldn't be happening. Why shouldn't it be happening? Because that's mental torture. Google solitary confinement. It's a decision that that their own mental health teams in here have said will be devastating for my mental health. Yet the government are making a decision to hold me in these conditions for 9 months. I asked this week, how long will I be held like this? 9 months. So you're not going to send me to an open prison? Why not? Why not? And what's the difference? When I got sentenced in Belmarsh, when I got to prison, everyone who goes to jail now, because the prisons are full, everyone gets 60% off. Not me. I wasn't allowed 60% off. So everyone does. Everyone. I mean, every single prisoner. Because I'm not a criminal offender. I'm a civil offender, so I shouldn't even be in it. I'm not a criminal offender, so I get the 50% off. They get 60. I think some of them get 70 from January. But that's only a difference of a month off. But that's a big difference when someone's sitting on solitary confinement, because I shouldn't be sat on solitary confinement. Now, when you take the 60% off, so if I was an 18-month sentence, criminal, if I'd raped someone and I was in here for rape or something, I'd get 18 months. Then I get 60% off, so that's 7.5, nearly 8 months. Then you do half of that on tag. I'd be out after 3.5, 4 months. But I have to serve 9 months of solitary confinement. And that's what I'm just pointing out, because I don't know, because I want to feel sorry for me. I'm just pointing out the hypocrisy of it all. It's 2025, and what amounts to mental torture is being inflicted on a journalist because he made a film. They don't have to do this. I should be in an open prison. And if they're saying, if their excuse is they brought me here and they put me in isolation, I haven't asked them to isolate me. So they put me in isolation because their excuse is I'll get hurt in the prison system. Well, if that was the case, they should still give me the same rights as a DCAT prisoner. If a DCAT prisoner is only meant to be staying in prison at night and he's meant to go to work, that's what I should be doing. Least of all for making a film. So the judge is given the power to give 2 years prison sentence for contempt of court without a jury. I've never had a jury, ever. So a 2-year prison sentence, but he wouldn't be given that if it was 2 years of solitary confinement. It's insane. And as that continues, not just that, I now have the Attorney General has now invoiced me. They sentenced me to 18 months, put me on solitary confinement, and now they've charged me £81,000 that they want me to pay by the 7th of January. Well, guess what? I face another contempt of court case. So we're talking about terrorism. This is financial terrorism. The weaponisation of the judiciary to destroy dissident voices. That's exactly what it is. If this was happening in North Korea, China or Russia, every politician in our country would be screaming about this. But not a word. Not one single politician has mentioned this. No, if you have a film which is an expose of the corrupt judiciary, which is the most watched documentary Britain's ever seen, and not one MP spoke about it, or mainstream journalists, not even GB News. None of them have spoke about it. It's insane. They'd all be screaming about it if they're pointing the fingers at other countries. But again, this ain't so people feel sorry for me. The Justice Nicklin thought he could inflict a gagging order. They think they can lock up the truth. As I said, the film's got 150 million views. How's that going? Now they've given a gagging order to journalists who come and visit me. Anyone who visits me has to now sign a gagging order that they won't speak about how I am. Why is that? Probably because they know full well that there's a downward spiral of solitary confinement. That's what's going to happen. They know what's going to happen. They have their experts, their mental health teams, which I've asked myself. So they know full well the consequences of isolating someone for 9 months. Will it break me? That's it. When you understand why they're doing it, it is to break me. That's the intention of it. It won't break me. I'll come out of here with my head held high, whether it be from a DCAT, which I doubt, but I'm grateful that Ezra, I'm grateful that he's going to be fighting this, because he always taught me to fight everything. He's been fighting this through the legal system. I don't have much hope in any of the legal system because there's no jury. I've never had a jury. I faced a terrorism case on the 20th of March. Now I face a terrorism case because I didn't allow the police access into my phone. They stopped me under terrorism legislation at the border, and then they said, we know you're not a terrorist, but we have the power to do this. So you have the power, you abuse your powers. Terrorism legislation wasn't brought in so you can stop journalists at airports. Why do they want to get into my phone? Because my next episode and my next documentary, everyone's talking about Muslim grooming gangs today. Everyone. My next documentary proves that they're not just Muslim grooming gangs. They're Labour's Muslim grooming gangs. And we have covert recordings that make allegations against leading Labour politicians who were involved in sexual exploitation of children. They're politicians. That's why they stopped down terrorism legislation. And I have, as a journalist, I have a right to protect my source of information. So I didn't give them access to my phone. And now face a terrorism trial. How many journalists have spoke up about that? 0. How many politicians have spoke up or defended my name in that? 0. We have to rely on leading figures from around the world. I think today, Dutch politicians, Danish politicians, Polish politicians, Australian politicians, American politicians are speaking up. Where are the British politicians? Just think where we would be if it wasn't for Elon Musk. Where would this country be? Donald Trump, I don't believe, would have been elected. Where would we all be? We'd all still be under censorship. Still, people wouldn't know the truth. There is a mass awakening happening out there, and they can't stop it. So long as there's free speech. Free speech is the most important thing. Free speech is the hill I will die on. I played this film. I made that film available to the public. Not because they were gagging me, because they were gagging you. They're silencing you. They don't want you to see the truth. That's what this has been about. It's not about me. It's not about people like me. It's about the wider public not knowing what's going on. It's why Jess Phillips doesn't want a groom gang scandal. It's why all of them have acted day in, day out to cover this mess up, because the mess highlights their failures, government failures, open border immigration failures, their failure to tackle these problems. And instead they crush us. How's that working? Have you silenced us? How many views is the film on? How many people are listening now? Has it worked? It's not going to work. You can't look up the truth. Your attempt to look up the truth will not work. As I said, I'll come out of here. My next documentary is going to expose Labour.
Starmer. Fuck Starmer. He'd be gone soon anyway, but they'll only replace him with some other fucking knob. Fucking sick of them all. Who the fuck do they think they are? You know what I mean? I was born into this world. Well, you think you run me? You don't fucking run me. You're nothing, mate. You're nothing in my life. Nothing. You're not my Prime Minister. That geezer's not my king. They can all fuck off with a fuck. What? I'm your subject. You can fuck yourself, mate. Absolutely fuck yourself. You cunt. Yeah? And that geezer killed himself in there, didn't he? Yeah? Have that on your fucking hands, Starmer. Yeah? Have that on your hands while you release rapists and murderers who re-offend the same day. Yeah, be ashamed of yourself, mate. Be ashamed of yourself. Be fucking ashamed of your fucking self. Tosser. Fucking tosser. I'll tell him to his fucking face as well if I ever see him. Yeah, man, letting out paedophiles. Letting them out. To make room for people that have tweeted. What sort of a fucking world do we live in, man? Really? Like, even other countries are looking in going, fucking hell, what's happened to your countries? Like, I know. What has happened? What the fuck has happened? We got cunts written across our fucking head or something. It's a new year. I'm not going to keep putting up with it. Fucking, I'll come to you fucking Downing Street, you cunt. Fuck the UK government, yeah? Fuck you. Fuck you. You're wrong-uns, mate. Through and through. Absolute fucking wrong-uns. How many fucking paedophiles in fucking Labour? Yeah? Go and have a look at the website, Labour 25. No one's got no fucking respect for you. And don't talk about trying to get people to sign up and fucking go to war for you. No one likes you, cunt. Yeah? No one fucking likes you. So why don't you fuck off and do one? Harriet Harman lobbying for paedophiles. What's that fucking tell ya? When's it going to change? When is it going to fucking change? Because we're all sick of you and we want you gone. You fucking little controlling fucking freak shows.
Doesn't matter how long you lock me up here for, and I expect them to come in with more charges. I expect them to try and do everything they can, because the public right now are listening. The world is watching. The more you try and crush us, the more you try and mentally break us, the support we will gather. And people aren't buying your nonsense anymore. And this, again, I don't want people to be feeling sorry for me. I just want to point out their injustice, their lies. This doesn't have to be, my sentence doesn't have to be like this. I shouldn't even be in jail. I shouldn't be in jail. But I was willing to come to jail to put them on trial. I said that in the build-up. I'm not on trial here. The judiciary is. And right now the world, I'm not humiliated in the world's eyes. You are. The British judiciary is a laughingstock to the entire globe. The politicisation of our judiciary, the weaponisation of it, and right now our prison system is the whole world's watching the failure and the attempt to mentally break a British journalist for daring to expose their corruption. So I'm glad I got that off my chest. Everyone, I don't want you to feel sorry for me. I want you to think of Peter Lynch. Rest in peace, Peter Lynch. Rest in peace, free every political prisoner. I hope that Donald Trump, as soon as he's brought in, frees the January 6th prisoners, because I can only think of the solitary confinement conditions that they're facing, that their families are facing. I know what my family have faced. I know over the years what they're faced due to the slander and the lies by the media, by the fake prostitutes of the media. And to my kids, I absolutely love you and miss you. And every step and every move I've made, you have to follow it. And every sacrifice I make means you have to make sacrifices. So I apologise for that. But I hope I've taught you a very special, important lessons in life. To stand up for what you believe in. Never cower, never bend. And don't be a coward. Always stand up for the truth. Because the truth matters. And in the long run, people will see. As they are now. So I love you and I miss you, kids. And Jay, I'm sorry about everything, so I love you all right? And I can't wait to be free, but until that point, our voices, the voices of survivors of sexual exploitation and Islamic grooming gangs, their voices are echoing around the world today. It's a great sight to see. I've sat in this cell. I may sound a bit of stress now, but I am stressed anyway. Do you know, I'm stressed because even when it comes to visits now, I don't want to go on a visit. And that's isolation. So I know what months of isolation does. You then don't want to go out. I don't want to come out of the cell door. I go every morning and I'll continue to go every morning. I'll continue to have every visit. But I find a visit difficult. That's madness. But that should not be inflicted on a person. They should not be free to do that. It's not happening to the jihadists. It's not happening to the rapists. They're not allowed to do it to them. Why are they allowed to do it to me? Because they've made me that toxic that everyone's too scared to even speak about it. Even the Reform MPs won't speak up about the mess. But I'm grateful to, you see, all the journalism, all of our activism, all our content. The most important work we've done was during our time of censorship. And right now the world's watching it. And it's great to see. It's great. It's a great feeling for me. And none of that work would have been possible without the people who support my work and support me. The thousands of you who have wrote me letters. Every time, if I feel down in here, I just pick up my sacks of mail that are working for you. I pick up my sacks of mail and I don't feel down. I feel inspired. So keep fighting, and I hope that this sentence and the film exposes their corruption. Love to you all, man. And good luck on the 1st of February, everyone. Good luck on the 1st of February, and make.
Many people here are angry at Donald Trump because of the comments that he made about Gazans being resettled in other countries in the Middle East. And even though those comments were roundly condemned by many in the international community, including US allies, still for people here it is not enough. But they're also not happy with the government of Keir Starmer, the British Prime Minister, saying that as long as the UK continues exporting arms to Israel, it is still complicit in the actions of the Israeli army. And we spoke to some of the people here at the protest. This is what they had to say.
We can't have Donald Trump dictating what's going to happen in Gaza and what's going to happen to the people of Palestine.
Benjamin Netanyahu is also a wanted criminal by the International Criminal Court. So we're here to also demand that if he steps foot into this country, he's immediately arrested.
This is the 24th major pro-Palestinian protest since October of 2023 here in London. And there are people from many walks of life, many ages, many ethnicities. Organisers say they will continue holding these marches as long as the condition of Palestinians in both Gaza and the occupied West Bank remains precarious. Milena Veselinovic, Al Jazeera, London.
St. George's Cross and Union Jacks are flying o'er a sea of patriots and hooligans all gathered in the street. Cause the boats won't stop and grandma's locked up for her. Your words of hers were just too mean. We're not free. And everybody sang, hey, Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Oh, Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. The Luton lad jumped off the bus with Mr. Emmett Sing. They're marching from Victoria for country and for king. Cause the Starmer Nut and Parliament are giving up our land and sovereignty. We're not free. And everybody saying, hey, Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Oh, Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Now Father Calvin blessed the crowd while Lawrence smoked a pipe. And Mr. Zinn and Benjamin and Tunnel pledged to fight. The voice of Wales flew dragon scales, the British lion roared with all its might. Fight, fight, fight! Everybody sing, hey, Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Oh, Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Hey, Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson. Oh, Tommy, 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 Tommy Robinson.
Bond. He met his Waterloo.